Yeah.
All right. Awesome, man.
We're good to
All
go.
right. Okay. Cool.
Right, let's go. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Elemental Music Podcast. And we have got another wonderful guest for you today. Today we have DJ, producer, mixing and mastering engineer extraordinaire, and club promoter Tim Cullen. Tim, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, Dean? Good to see you.
Very well, mate. Good to see you too. How's things been going? Keeping busy at the moment?
Oh, mate, yeah, things are good. You know, the summer's starting to show itself, so that's always
The sun's
exciting.
coming out.
As soon as the sun comes out, everyone thinks about a party, so that's good. That's good news.
It's been as soon as the big. I was at Lingfield a couple of weeks ago for a meeting, and the sun came out, and I sat out and had a beer on the terrace after the meeting, and it was like that. It was like that instant switch of like now we're talking. Now it's coming, and obviously we've got, which you're involved with as well, BMC. Coming up soon, which is always like one of my favourite times of year. Just being down on the beach with everyone, catching up, some beers in the sun, some good events,
mate. Absolutely. Let's hope the sun continues for that, because it was so nice last year, wasn't it?
It's like we're coming out of hibernation.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of forget what it's like in a way. You're like, oh yeah, this is what life's about, isn't it? I forgot.
Before we go too far, Tim, and start chatting about your history, you've got an event coming up. Switch presents Shake It, right?
Yes, that's on Sunday, the 3rd of May, bank holiday. Yes.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And you've got the wonderful D. Ramirez, right?
D. Ramirez, yeah, he's someone that I've respected for years. He's like
What a
super
legend.
engineer, like such a lovely guy, and available. So that's good.
Yeah, and free. I love him. I think he's just brilliant, and I've watched quite a lot of tutorial stuff with him, and we worked on a couple of tracks with him, and just what a nice bloke.
Lovely bloke.
Just utterly nice human.
When you talk to him, you talk to him just like, just shooting the breeze, and then you realise that, oh no, he's like beatport number one at the moment with Armand van Helden, and he just doesn't come across like that guy at all.
Yeah, well, I met him in Egg, and he was just on the middle of the dance floor. We were just chatting away. He'd worked on a couple of our tracks not long before that, and I was like, oh, we're Deep Fiction. Sort of, obviously he sees music come through and it's names to faces, and it was just like chatting to one of your mates in the middle of a dance floor. It's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish more people in the industry were like that. Most of them are,
I've never actually seen him DJ. Actually,
oh yeah, I've seen him a few times. He plays it chuggy. Yeah.
Nice.
That was one thing he said to me. It's like, I'll play for your night, but don't expect fluffy classics. I'm going in. I was like, good.
I can't remember where I am that day. I want to try and get down. I can't remember if I've got a private in or not, but if I'm free, I will definitely come down, because it'd be nice to see him as well and catch up and
absolutely
check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Come down. All the merrier. Absolutely.
Right, let's dig into Mr. Tim Cullen.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Have you done a podcast before? Is this your first one?
Oh no, I've done a few podcasts in the past. Well, I used to do my own one, but it wasn't like full on chatty, to be honest. It was very much DJ and chatty and bits and bobs. So yeah, I'll try my best to give you what you need, Dean. All right.
I want all the dirt, all the gossip, all the dirt from back in the day. So Tim, if we roll it right back to the very early days. I think we've spoke before, touched on this briefly. So what was your early stages of music look like? How did you end up getting into the music industry? What was your early stages of that?
Well, I mean, my parents were folk musicians and still are folk musicians, actually. So music was like in our family's blood. Like, we had a piano in the front room, always on instruments. My first instrument I played was the flute. I'm grade 7
Amazing.
flute, which I was into until I was like sort of like second year of secondary school, and I realised that's not a cool thing to carry about with you. So
do you use it now? Do you use the flute in your productions now?
You know what? It's bust, but I tell you what, there's room for it. There's definitely room for a cheeky little flute now and again. Yeah, absolutely. No, I quickly switched to the electric guitar because people.
That was a bit cooler, but get a bit more band vibes. More chance of getting the girls with that rather than the flute.
I changed the side part into a centre parting, got the kickers on, that was the way.
Brilliant, love it.
But yeah, and then I got into bands, started playing in bands and stuff. But it wasn't until I was about Well, the sixth year of secondary school, like, I started getting into music production. There was like this tiny little cupboard that was that had an old Atari, and with Cubase VST and a Core Gen 1, and I was messing around with that. I was like, this is amazing. So yeah, I got hooks on that quite early. And that was about the same time that I had to go on my mate's brother's decks. And again, I was just like, well, okay, this is. And so I'm very lucky in the way that as soon as I knew what I wanted to do from that age, so the whole of my life was kind of driven towards that.
Just tunnel vision from there. That's it.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of people might get into house music, a bit later on, or like realise that they're really talented producer maybe slightly later. So, but luckily, yeah, I found what I wanted to do quite early.
Where did you go to school?
In Tunbridge Wells, in Kent, a place called Boys Grammar.
That's where I went to school.
What?
That's exactly where I went to school.
Oh my God! Well, the thing is,
I knew you were. I thought you would have been somewhere else. I didn't realise. I don't know how. For those that don't know, me and Tim have known each other for quite a few years now, and we've had many a night catching up and chatting away and having a few beers together. And this is the first time, genuinely the first time that we have worked out that we went to the same school.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. You're a tad younger than me, though, so I reckon by the time you got there, they probably had like a full-on music production suite.
They hadn't quite. I know. Do you know they've got the big new music building?
See, that wasn't there when I was there.
No, that was just after.
Okay.
I think we had the basic pianos, electric pianos, in keyboards, and the most nonsense music lessons going. I don't ever remember. I don't even remember the room that you were talking about with the Atari in there. That was probably gone by that point.
I think it was literally the broom cupboard.
Because I was really into drama at the time, and so I really enjoyed the drama lessons. And then I tried to do it for GCSE, but because it was an all boys school, it wasn't so much of a thing. They didn't run the GCSE course for it.
Gotcha.
And now what they do is they've partnered with the local girls' grammar across the road. And when you go to GCSE level, I think, and A level, certain subjects like drama, if there's not enough from one side, they'll combine classes so that actually, because obviously back in we were the Barnard days, right?
Yes.
It was all very boys will be boys, and this is how boys are. It was compared to today's day and age, it was utter nonsense. But
yeah.
But I think nowadays it's a bit more inclusive of the fact that boys don't just do certain things and girls do certain things. It's come on a lot in that respect. Which is a wonderful thing. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the fact you can join up for lessons as well. And I'm sure they do music classes together and everything. That would be great. Because in our music technology class, there's only about 4 of us, I think. Literally 4 of us. So yeah, more the merrier.
Brilliant stuff. So you found that at school, and then you went on and did music production at your uni. Is that right?
Yeah, I went straight on. Didn't have a gap year. I was DJing in local clubs. As you know the area. Probably a lot of these listeners don't know the area, but there was a club called Da Vinci's, and that was where I cut my teeth, sort of doing local town club DJing. So I was doing that throughout the summer. But then I went to music college in London, at Rose Bruford, to do my degree in music technology. Yeah.
Amazing. So you were a resident DJ at Da Vinci's in the early days?
Yes. Well, before that, it was a place called Cheyne Moir. I had my first residency when I was 16, so I was underage. And it was a really odd vibe in there because, there was a lot of underage guys, 16, 17, but there were also, a load of, 60-year-olds, 50, 60-year-olds, and they're kind of, snog each other on the dance floor. It was horrible.
Funnily enough, I had Ali on last week.
Oh, right.
On the podcast.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so he did, and we went right back through the story because Ali was my early clubbing days. I always remember Ali being around, and obviously when Shane Moore became Fusion and then SOS days as well.
Yeah.
So we went right back through that story and his journey and all like that. It was really interesting, really, obviously, a lot relevant to my days of growing up and clubbing in the early stages, and many a night down in Da Vinci's as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Watching you DJ, I imagine.
Oh my god. Yeah, because Ali got
when it
was
very
early.
When you had the 2 floors in Da Vinci's, and it was a bit of a maze in there for a while. Well, it felt like a maze late at night anyway.
Yeah, absolutely, a messy maze.
Yeah. So you went to university, music production, music engineering.
Yeah, it was called music technology really. So it was mainly about you know, the physics of sound, about recording techniques, about the history of like culture. So I for my dissertation at university, I was lucky enough to go into the history of dance music, and so I had a whole year to do a master's. Sorry, not a master's. My main degree was to do a master. Sorry, I'm not. I'm not explaining myself here. So we did for the main section of my degree, we had to go into one big project, and we had like a written subject. So that the written bit was all about the history of dance music, and then I produced 5 different tracks in 5 different styles. So I did like drum and bass, trance, house, trip hop, and trance. I can't remember. And I had to go into the history of each one and how they all came about, and you know, I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
That sounds to have the time to do that and actually enjoy it and go through that process must have been incredible.
It's so much fun, man, and I'm fascinated by the history of the music. I'm sure you are too.
Even delving into the sounds, the different sounds that go into different styles and where they came from and originated must have been
it's amazing,
incredible.
It just fascinates me. The whole, you know, how the music's about, why the music's about, you know, who instigates it, and you realise how much of a change these pioneers made in music by being in a club at the right time, you know. You know, Larry Levan, Paradise Garage, all that stuff. It was just it's just amazing.
Was that in London at the time you were doing that?
Yes. So that was in Greenwich. That
great.
So that was in Greenwich, yeah.
Leading on to from there, you stayed in London, right?
Well, I cut my teeth DJing around Greenwich and sort of like student parties and that type of thing. Yep. Then and then I did come back to Tunbridge Wells after I got my degree and carried on DJing the local scene. But I knew I wanted to get back to London basically. So I got myself a job in a recording studio in Soho, making tea to start off with, as we all do, and then
that's a proper traditional route, tea boy.
Yeah, and then worked my way up through the ranks, and after about 5 years, I was an engineer at the studio, and of course, being in London, I was able to DJ around London, start getting to the clubs, the bars. You know, I'd be playing back rooms at Ministry of Sound, at Egg, at, you know, Hidden, XOY, well, not XOY at the time, those sort of clubs anyway. What
was? Talk me through, what year were we around then, Tim?
That was about, I'm terrible with years, but I think it was about 98, 99, maybe.
Okay. So talk to me a little bit about what was the process like for a beginner DJ in that sort of time, going into London, trying to find your way, trying to get yourself into clubs. Obviously, I know today's day and age, a lot of it's around social media and networking and being around the scene, but what was your process back then for finding new venues and meeting new people and getting your name out there?
Yeah, well, at the time I wasn't really like thinking I want to have a career as a DJ. Really, I just was having a lot of fun. You know, I was just going to parties with my mates, having a great time, playing some tunes back to backs. It was just fantastic. It was just great fun. And I got really good feedback from my set, so that spurred me on to do more and more. And then just sort of started taking it a little bit more seriously, got into more production, and then started the record label with my good friend James, who's now made by Pete, but at the time he was under so-called Some Scumbags with his partner Dave, and we started Grin Recordings.
Amazing.
And that was just at the time that basically I got made redundant from my day job. So I was like, right, okay, I'm in this for the long haul then. So I ditched the day job and went fully on label and DJing and production at that time. So that was probably about 2005, I'd say.
So it was quite an organic process. There was no sort of, right, I'm going to be a DJ now, I need to go out and push myself. It just sort of happened quite naturally, that process of going from playing a few rooms and just getting good feedback and just naturally building over the course of a few years.
Yeah, and I mean, I was networking, but really I wasn't thinking I've got to go and meet that guy. I was just having fun, you know.
It was more just being at the networking because you were out and about anyway. Yeah.
I was out and about. I was DJing all the time because because I loved it, and I just said yes to everything. I could say yes to everything. Pre-kids, pre-wife, I was just like, I'll just do whatever. Every night I was out and about. So, so you get to meet a lot of people in the London circuit pretty quickly if you're out and about. That's what I found anyway. And then, of course, with label and production, then, you can put yourself even more out there, really, because when you're DJing, you can only entertain the people that are there for the event. With production, you've got the whole world that can hear your music. So we spread our wings with our label, just like you are. With the music, and started running parties as well.
Amazing. So tell us a bit about them earlier parties. Where were they, and what was the?
Yeah, well, they were mainly they were all label. They were label producers. We had Ben Remember. He was back in the day. He was with us. I'd like to say we found him before Toolroom yoinked him, but hey,
take credit for him.
We had August 5, who's still doing bits and bobs, and we were doing parties mainly. Did you ever go to Giggleham?
No, don't remember that.
Oh, there was this place called Giggleham. It was like a bar down in Clapham South, and every Sunday it was kicking. Every Sunday, and it was kind of run by Hilton. Do you know Hilton, who's with Andy on Try Lucid?
Oh yeah.
He used to do all the bookings for Giggleham, and he also did all the bookings for Ministry and Lock and Load for SW4 festivals. So you used to get like the biggest DJs come down and play in this little bar on a Sunday. We had Roger Sanchez, we had Groove Armada, we had Judge Jules, Sister Bliss, like name them. They were there on a Sunday. And we used to throw our party there on a Sunday, and it just went off. It was so messy.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
That must have been such a cool time to be around, yeah.
Yeah, it was like every Sunday, Giggleham. Every Monday, hungover. that was it.
Was that sort of part of the early stages of your relationship with Ministry of Sound?
Yeah. Well, you get to know people pretty quickly, especially in the Clapham circuit. There was lots of parties being thrown. When you weren't DJing, you were going to other people's nights and just chatting and just shooting the breeze. And I was playing for all sorts of nights, but it wasn't till I remember it was 2012 where I got my break at Ministry, because They basically, one of the main DJs fell ill, and it was for the SW4 weekend, and it was the after party for SW4 on the Saturday night, and literally 2 days before the event, one of the headliners fell ill, and so I got a phone call saying, "Do you fancy it?" And I was like, oh, "Okay," because I played in the 103 and in the other rooms, but I hadn't played in the main room, and so like 2 days ago, I was like, "Okay," so
game time.
That was it was great. It was really, really, it was a special night. But I was pretty nervous. But it's one of those things. I don't know if you ever have these. When you're nervous about a set, you overanalyze it. And what I did for that one is I hardly ever did this, but I kind of had pretty much all the tracks I wanted to play. I was so nervous. And I sort of overthought it. Like, everyone went to SW4 the festival on the day. I didn't have a single drink, of course, because I was so nervous. Then the after party before Ministry, sober. Everyone was, everyone was having a lot of fun. And I was like, no. And my set was like a 4 a.m. And I got to Ministry, and I was like, maybe I could have had a couple of beers, actually. I'm like,
everyone's in a state where it doesn't really, you can play anything.
But I did look up at the crowd, and I just thought, you know what I planned was, just not right. So I completely changed the set like last minute. But your intuition just takes over. I find that a lot. I find that a lot where you have exactly the same thing, where you have them moments where you think it needs your brain leading up to an event will think it needs something in particular, and you just get there and go, nah. And maybe watching the DJ before, then you start and you sort of think, no, this is not where we're going, and then you end up veering off. But I love that. I love that feeling of just working with it and going with it. And actually, I try and stop doing that now. I mean, I'll always fire in, I don't know, 3 times as many tracks as I might need for an hour in a folder. Yeah.
With an idea, but more often than not, by half hour into a set, I'm out. digging into other folders anyway, and just all over the place.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think overthinking things. Yeah, even though it's it's not very good for you in a way. It's additional stress. It's a different additional strain and stuff. But when you overthink something and you get nervous about something, it just shows you care, doesn't it? And so
Yeah, absolutely.
that nervous energy you put into performance instead. Like I think it was John Digweed that said, if you don't get nervous before a gig, then you just don't. You obviously don't care about what you do. So I think that's it's a good thing to be over cautious and over analyze and over prepare and all that stuff.
So talk to us a bit more about the label that you had. How did that journey pan out over that period?
Well, we ran it for probably about a good 5 years, and it was great fun, really good fun. But
was it predominantly vinyl at that point?
No. It was digital sales. It was still We didn't print any vinyl.
Okay.
Like demos we were sending out on CDs. We were, but people were Beatport existed, and we were still using TrackSource and all those sort of websites. So we were constantly in communication with those guys. But yeah, it was so much fun to just put out music we loved. So I ran it with James and Dave, it's just great to just keep your eye out for new music, and just like you do, it's just very rewarding when you find a record and then you put your time into it and and see it fly.
Amazing.
There's nothing like when a DJ that you respect plays your tune or your label's track. There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
They've just gone, I like that. Like, first time that Cole Cox charted my track on Beatport, I was just like, he knows me,
Yeah, it's one of them things, isn't it? Like, it's quite special when you think of how limited their sets are when you're playing them big stages. If someone's got an hour set at a massive festival and they've got 15 to 20 tracks to pick from, maybe a few more, but yours is one of them. Considering the amount of music out there now, especially, it's a wonderful. It's still I still get it now. We had one last week that was played at Tomorrowland, and I still get the same goosebumps, that just the feeling that someone supported it and playing it in front of all them people.
Yeah, and it's when you hear it live as well. You hear your track coming in, you're like, nah, and then you're like, Bob. Yeah, really, really good. Yeah.
We had it last year. We went to a festival with Sam Divine was running a stage, and we were walking in to the festival, just going through sort of the security bit. Yeah. And we suddenly heard our track dropping in on one of the stages, and we were like, we need to get in. But we ended up completely missing it.
Oh no. So
that
I'm sure with the thousands of people there's some sort of video footage somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. We can normally dig it out somewhere on Instagram, can't you?
Oh man, yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it's actually one of the thing is the best feeling in music, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one thing smashing a gig, getting everyone like properly into it, but to get your track supported by these guys is amazing. There's one really magical moment that I had when it was with Steve Lawler and he was playing in Ministry, and it was. Do you remember when they had a Dolby 5.1 thing? They installed this mixer so the DJ could introduce elements of the track and pan it round the speakers. And,
okay.
And he only had like a few tracks that he could put into this system, and one of the tracks was Strickland Landor, which is one of my tunes for a different alias. So I sent him over the elements. And he mixed it in 5.1, and halfway through the track he went, right, you and me, let's get down the middle of the dance floor, and someone else sort of panned it around and so I was standing in the middle of the Ministry of Sound dance floor with Steve Lawler, listening to my track on 5.1. I was like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's amazing. One of them pinch me moments.
Yeah, exactly.
So how did that relationship develop with Ministry of Sound? You ended up touring a lot with them, right?
Yeah, well, at the time when I had that slot in the main room was just at the time that they were looking for a whole bunch of new residents. So I hit the nail on the head in terms of timing. I did a dope party whereby one of the scouts came down and sort of had to see what I was like in other circumstances. So they came down and watched me play there. And yeah, and then I was chosen amongst I think it was 5 or so others, and they launched the whole thing. So we were in the club once a month, sometimes twice a month,
Yeah.
and then we're on tour twice a month as well, various locations.
Amazing. And how long was that for?
I had that residency probably for about 8 or 9 years, I think. I think I'm
Wow.
one of the longest standing residents. But then, of course, what happened was when COVID hit, came out of COVID, and
Yeah.
everyone I knew that wrote to ministry had vanished, literally. And I was like, hello? And I was like,
Where is everybody?
tumbleweed. I was just like, okay.
Everybody's had kids.
So I never actually got an email to say, yeah, residency over. It was just sort of like, oh, okay. I just fizzled out.
What was that period of your life like, traveling the world and being a part of that
Mate.
massive brand? And
Oh,
that must have been
mate.
incredible. Just
It was so magical. Like, because I didn't get that gap year between, school and work and all that stuff. It was I was able to see so much of the world in places that you never thought you'd ever see. Like Pakistan, China, Hong Kong, various locations that I'd never choose to go to really, and then you're suddenly there and you're like, oh, okay, this is happening.
all paid for,
Um,
DJ, doing the thing you love the most.
yeah, but a lot of the time it was solo, of course, and as you know from touring, I mean, you're part of a duo, so that's great. Because I tell you
Do
what,
you know what? It's why it was one of the key reasons.
Yeah.
We started. We formed it on the train on the way back from a gig in Manchester, where we'd just been away for a couple of days, and we were sort
Yeah.
of going through music that we had ready and what we both liked,
Yeah.
and we loved the fact that just having someone to go for dinner with.
Yeah.
And go for a few beers with and staying out and getting up in the morning, traveling together, and that buzz and that excitement. We sort of said, well, why don't we just do? And there were certain elements of what we did that gelled together nicely. So there was things that I do that complement Greg, and things that Greg does that complement me, which filled a few holes in what we were trying to do at the time. So we just went, sod it, let's just do this thing together. It'll be a lot more fun.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, like you say, that it takes away that.
As you know, there's so many things you have to do as an artist now. It used to be that you've got to be a good DJ and a good producer. Now you've got to be like you got to do so much stuff, and the more you can divide that up between two people, the better.
Exactly.
I mean, it's
Absolutely.
but then you've gone the extra mile and you're running big events and a label as well, just to add to it all. I don't know how you find the time, dude.
Try. Just do the best we can.
Yeah.
You're. I would argue you're a busier man yourself, Tim. But yeah.
Oh well, we find ways,
but,
right?
Yeah, of course, yeah, and we love it, right? That's why we're here. Still, we're doing it, and you're putting everything in behind it, and you're still. This is why you're still doing this today, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, gone too far now. What else? What else can I do?
Way back.
What else can I do? I'm not going to retrain as a chef.
So let's go back to around that time. You mentioned something earlier which I wanted to sort of talk to you a little bit about. You obviously had the Alias Strickland. Tell us a little bit about that and how that came about.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, I suppose really that we were nearly there with the Ministry of Sound bit. So after about 8 years of ministry, and then lockdown was glooming, I started the Strickland alias, mainly because I found that the music I was playing for ministry was sometimes not the stuff that was really, that was the stuff I wanted. So I started with a management company, Pete Gooding, and Phil Doherty, and they sort of helped me carve out like a new alias, new sound, and sort of like find where really my heart properly was. So I as you do with artists, you sit down and go, right, what labels do you want to be on here? Who do you want to support your music? And then you sort of really sort of carve out your idea of where you want to be and what you got to do to get there. And so Strickland was created really in the mind that I wanted to play slightly more underground stuff, kind of hot since '82 Nick Fanciulli vibes. That's where I've always lived, and I love that.
Yeah.
It's slightly more I don't know, slightly deeper than the chunky stuff I do under Tim Cullen. It's just a little bit more euphoric, I suppose.
Yeah.
Few more melodic elements, slightly darker, bit more groovy. Yeah, so that's how that came about.
Did you used to party a lot in Maidstone in the sort of Sauce Bar and Nick Fanciulli days?
No, I missed all that. I'm gutted.
Oh,
I'm gutted. Nick,
I
honestly,
suppose you were in London at that time, weren't you?
Yeah, I was partying in London an awful lot, and I missed a lot. Even though Maystone's just down the road, I missed.
Well, yeah, that's why I sort of thought maybe you didn't know how sort of linked and back and forth you were at that time.
Yeah, I don't know how that whole scene sort of. I don't know what happened at that time, but because Nick, honestly, he's like, when I look at any DJ, I'm like, Nick's the guy. He's the guy. He's got such.
He's
a
a
good
god.
ear.
I'm obsessed with him.
Yeah.
The save nights and the street parties at Source were what.
Yeah.
That's what drove my sort of. That got me at the time, and that took me from sort of clubbing and commercialized music into really going into down the route of underground house and finding my way, and going in there and listening to one of his sets, and that feeling you got from that bass line just rumbling along for hours and hours on end was like, yeah, this is a bit of me. Because a lot of my friends were into drum and bass at the time, and Tunbridge Wells obviously had quite a big drum and bass scene, and I lived in Crowborough for a while, which that Tunbridge Wells Crowborough link with drum and bass was massive.
Yeah.
We used to do a lot of drum and bass raving, but never really. I was just there because it was a party. It was one of them things. You just sort of, that's what my mates are doing, so I'm going there. And I never really. And then a friend of mine said, "Come over to Maidstone." She just bought a flat there. She said, "Come over. I'm going to take you to Sauce Bar." And we walked in, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah.
Now this is what I'm all about. So yeah, that was the sort of, in them days, it was incredible. And that there was a period of years there where it was unmatched. You could walk in there any night, any weekend night.
Yeah.
Or nights during the week, and it would just be top quality house music.
Yeah.
That sort of vibe, that just incredible.
Yeah, which is great because like Maidstone's got Maidstone's got a very, very unique thing going on there.
It's died off a bit nowadays, but which is a shame actually. I mean, we've done a couple of gigs at Sauce Bar in the last few years, and it's not the same as it used to be, sadly.
Yeah,
but
yeah. What do you think? What do you think's changed in Maidstone? Then do you think it's what do you think's different? Because they are still doing a few sort of I know it's the bank holiday parties where they closed the streets, wasn't it? And that they were the ones. But like, are they still happening? What's going on there?
I don't think they're happening at Sauce Bar anymore. I wonder whether, and I think this about a lot of places. I wonder whether, because I think good venues are still thriving.
Yeah,
venues doing great stuff and reinventing the wheel, and certain. I mean, when you look at London, right? The likes of Fabric is still doing what Fabric does week in, week out.
Absolutely.
We went to a day party there on a Saturday a couple of months ago, and we were only actually there because our videographer was popping in to do a set, so we went in with him, and it was a next up night, so it was Max Dean and his crew, and it was wall to wall at 3 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon. And you sort of look around and go, wow, this is... But I think people are so much, especially since COVID, they've learned to entertain themselves in spaces where they don't need to go out for entertainment.
Yeah.
Especially there's a bulk of generation of kids that have just didn't go through that period of, when you think about it, that if you were 16, 17 at the time of COVID kicking in, you missed that whole period of trying to get into clubs, then getting into clubs and it being a massive thing. And I know if they are going out, it needs to be special, and it has to be like a marquee moment. Something incredible. They're not going out, and also things like cost of living are massive at the moment.
Oh absolutely.
They can't afford. We were going out 4 nights a week when I was a teenager. You were talking about being up in London and out most nights of the week. Like, you couldn't afford to do that now.
Yeah.
At any age, really, unless you loaded. And then if you loaded, you're probably smarter than going out 5-6 nights a week.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one thing that's good. I mean, talking to the guys around Tunbridge Wells, Faz and Ali and all those guys, it seems that there is a new trend of people that are coming through now that are up for it. And
Yeah,
I don't know whether
it's almost gone. The next lot have gone again,
yeah,
and they're going to drift back down
yeah,
the right route.
yeah, exactly. Because if you think about when did COVID start? That was what, 6 years ago. So when 6 years ago, so say if you're 18, 19 now, then that would have been like 12,
Hopefully, the next
13.
generation are sort
So
of
so
kicking
so
their way
now
back through now.
they grew up through like their teen years, like we did, going out
Yeah.
at least without that gap. So maybe that's going to make a difference. I don't know. Obviously not financially, that's still going to be a problem, but at least like
Yeah.
mentally, I don't know.
Ali actually told me a mad fact last week, actually, on the podcast. He said that in Tunbridge Wells, back in the heyday of when he ran the nightclubs, you used to have an average of 9,000 people in the town on a Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah.
And nowadays it's 2.
Yeah.
So that tells you the massive hit of. I mean, you remember back in the day, there was 5 or 6 nightclubs, all busy.
Yeah.
There was just a buzz about the town itself.
Yeah.
And Maidstone was the same. You walk around the streets of Maidstone, sort of bar hopping before you'd end up in whatever club you were going to, and it just had an energy about Brighton. Exactly the same. London's slightly different because obviously there's a massive tourist aspect to it, but Brighton, Tunbridge Wells, Maidstone, which was sort of the 3 main places that I used to go out. You used to just get a feeling from walking around the town on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
That excitement was in the air. Everyone was in good spirits and mainly in good spirits. And it just gave you a sense of excitement to be out. And you walk around most of these towns now on a weekend, and apart from a few venues that are doing good things, being busy, there's not that feeling anymore.
Yeah. I don't know what to do to get it back, really. But we can only do our best.
We're trying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Between us, Tim, we're trying really, really hard.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
But let's go back. We got sidetracked a bit. So still talk a bit more about Strickland. So how did that develop? That Alias?
Yeah, I mean, I got some good signings, got a good few gigs, and it was really nice to just play the music that I just really loved, and every gig was good. Because what happened with Ministry, I might be touring the world and playing all these venues, but sometimes I felt pushed to play my music in a certain way, just to kind of it's that sort of crowd, it was like in Dubai, it'd be a sparkler crowd, in Madrid, in all those places. It was, you'd be walking to the crowd, everyone's suited and booted and stuff like that. And you're like, right, okay. And some of the music you might play, the one what I wanted to play, I just couldn't get it out there. So with Strickland, it was quite nice just to have a reset and go, no, this is what it says on the tin. This is what I do. And it was really nice just to hone my sound. There's a gig I did at Egg, and it was a 2-hour set, and I played just all my music, and it was just so. It was really nice to be able to do that. And without someone sort of looking bored on the dance floor, they want to hear something they know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very releasing. I will go back to releasing under Strickland because I stopped that now. But I will do it. Now I've got my new studio. I'm going to sort of get back into writing and sort of just experiment with sounds a bit more.
Is Strickland the only other main alias you've had before?
I did have a couple of others. Touch Enable was one, but that was more kind of like progressive stuff when I was writing with Andy. But no, that's about it. What about yourself?
So we may see some more Strickland stuff in the future.
Yes, at some point. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when the right track comes about and it doesn't fit my own name, then I'll stick it out under Strickland for sure.
Nice. No, well, I was obviously. Well, I am El Dino, which was my main alias. And similarly to what you were talking about with Strickland and things like that, I was releasing music under El Dino, and music that I enjoyed making. But what I found was the gigs that I was getting booked for, and because I was trying to get my name out a bit more, but I ended up a bit all over the place, identity-wise.
Yeah,
I didn't really know what lane or where I sat, or I was doing some disco house sets, some housey sets, some tech house sets, and then some really commercial sets and venues. And really trying to and learning venues as well. Like, I'm still learning my way around the DJ world and production world and things like that, and probably taken too many gigs that didn't fit under that alias, that didn't fit the sound that I wanted to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when it's your living as well, you've got to, you take a gig because it's there. Do you know what I mean? And I totally see what you mean. Yeah.
But one of the things that obviously we spoke about, me and Greg, and that duo thing being great for splitting up time and sharing the workload of it. Also, it gave me and him a chance to really reset musically and focus and hone down on, right, we are Deep Fiction. Here's the music we're going to make.
Yeah.
We still go a little bit all over the place because that's us creatively, and we like a variation of the house, tech house sound.
Yeah.
But if you go on our Instagram or you go on our Spotify or you come to one of our gigs, we try and really keep that funneled to a certain degree within a certain lane that with us. That's not to say we're not throwing in the odd classic at a gig or vocal number that's going to get the crowd moving. Absolutely not. But in general, it's a lot more streamlined, and visually, even just looking through our socials, you sort of get a really good idea for what we are and who we do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, there's two different ways of thinking about this, isn't it? You look at a Nick Fanciulli set or a Carl Cox set, and they will drop a classic, they will drop a vocal. We do a deal. We are DJs, absolutely. We want, our job is to get people moving, but it's just quite nice when you get to do what you really want to your crowd. You know what I mean? Those moments. So it's carving your music in a direction whereby the crowd that you're playing to are your type of crowd.
That's the thing as well, I think, and it's having the confidence to try and develop from playing to a crowd to they're coming to watch you play a Deep Fiction set.
Yeah.
Like you say, they're coming to watch a Strickland set, and like you said, you did at Egg, you can throw out 2 hours of unreleased Strickland music. They're there for it, and they're just absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
That feeling is different to going, right, who are these people in front of me, and what do I need to play to get them moving and to keep them on the dance floor?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the sort of thing that's what we're trying to do now. I'm trying to get more. We're trying to build up a bit more of a following under that alias, and trying to hone that sound and keep. We're starting to now get some continuity. Get that word out. Continuity with some of the labels that we're working with. We're doing quite a bit now with Danny over at Tool Room under their Stranger Love label, and bits with Who and people like that. And that's really where we're trying to sort of hone our sound a little bit.
Perfect.
It's
man.
Been really good fun. So,
excellent news.
So around that time, Tim, you ended up moving back to Tunbridge Wells. Is that right? Was that sort of?
Yeah. Well, that was just when was that? So that was just before lockdown, actually. Really, I moved back to Tunbridge Wells, kicking and screaming. To be honest, like I was. I wasn't really up for it. But my wife was like, a lot of our friends have moved out from London now. Can we move to Tunbridge Wells? And I was thinking, yeah.
Was your wife from Tunbridge Wells originally?
Yeah, we both moved to London together. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so her sister...
you went on that whole journey together over the years?
Yeah, absolutely. So her sister had... Oh, wait a minute. That's better. Her sister had kids in the local area. My parents were nearby, and so it made sense to come back this way just for family reasons and for her sanity, because I was away every weekend, and she was just like, okay, and she was going back to Tunbridge Wells every weekend. And she was kind of like, if you come back to Tunbridge Wells, your tiny little studio in your second bedroom, you could have this. And I was like, well, okay, yeah, right. So
dangling that carrot of
yeah. So we made the move, and I'm so happy we did. It's got more green space. It's a bit calmer. It's lovely.
Lovely part of the world.
Yeah, it's one of those when you grow up here, I think it's what most people find is they hate it because there's not enough clubs, there's not a music scene and all these things, and so you end up going to university and going, oh, this is great, and then everyone stays in their university town for a while, but then when they get to about sort of like late 20s, early 30s, they're like, Tunbridge Wells is really nice, and so they come back again.
It's that process of thinking about what you want from your life at that moment, and actually when you think about the family life and the kids' life and all that sort of thing. It's a wonderful place to be. And from a musical perspective, you can still access London and Brighton and airports, and they say you got more space to put your studio. You love
Yeah.
a new space, Tim.
Yeah.
So Greg's doing the same actually. So Greg went to school at Boys Grammar as well.
Oh, bloody.
He was a Tunbridge Wells lad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how we knew each other. So we knew each other at school, and then he went off to uni, and so he lives in Clapham now.
Oh, okay.
He went to uni, and then he's in the London circuit at the moment.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Him and his fiance are now looking at coming back out of London
Gotcha.
and heading towards that family life route and that stage of life. So
Cool.
it's a rite of passage thing, I think.
Yeah. Tunbridge Wells, Clapham, Tunbridge Wells. Yeah.
That's right. But that move for you spurned the birth of Switch, is that right?
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, like, I got to Tunbridge Wells and I was like, oh, God, there's there's nothing here, man. There's nothing here. I mean, I've got a bigger studio. I was like, okay, no, I've got to try and do something. And it was hard to start off with. But it was so I started the forum. And it got some great feedback. As you know, because I'm not really a promoter at all. I'm a DJ, so I had to learn on the job quite quickly. Find ways to build a crowd in a different way. And yeah, it was very rewarding. Yeah,
that started pre-COVID, right?
Yes.
And what was the so you started straight from the bat at the forum? How was that? How was it getting in with the forum and working with them? Obviously, they're a musical institution.
Yeah.
Down this way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is. I suppose. Yeah, it worked well. The venue was the right size for what I wanted. Yeah, it ticked.
Were they
all
doing
the
much
boxes.
house music, dance music wise at the time?
No, there wasn't really anything in town at the time, house music wise. Back in the day, we used to have a few bits, like you mentioned, you had bits knocking about, but there was a bit of a break. So I thought to myself, there is a crowd here,
Yeah.
a lot of people that maybe have had kids. And their kids are old enough now they've
been to London and moved back again.
Yeah, maybe they've gone to Clapham. Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, right, let's give them a little taster. And luckily there are people about. I think in lots of towns now there are people that are old enough who've had kids but still up for a party. There's in every town there is that clientele knocking about.
I think that's what that's done as well over the last sort of 6-7 years. Has also spurned, again, it's rolling now into that newer generation coming back into the fold.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're still doing, and we'll talk about that evolution in a minute, but you're still doing Switch and Shake under the Shake It banner at the moment. But there's a lot more since then that has come into the town, and there's a lot more promoters trying to do things. And obviously, we started in Tunbridge Wells, and Lost now, which is a wonderful space for smaller promoters to come in and be able to have that freedom in a smaller venue without so much pressure financially to try things out and experiment. And so it must have been quite nice to see that development over the last sort of 6-7 years
it's great.
From you do it.
Yeah,
coming back.
I mean, this is the right sized town to have, like a scene going on, like at least like-minded people, and I think what we've done is created like a nice group of people that all get on. And that's, like I said in Clapham, when I started doing my residency at ministry and all those bits, that's what it was. It was just like everyone knocking about and having a laugh and just playing records and having fun. And that's what every town needs. Like Hastings has got a scene, Brighton's got a scene, Maystone's got a great scene. Why can't Tunbridge Wells have a scene? And luckily that's it's grown, and which is fantastic.
Yeah, I love just the Switch nights at the Forum were amazing. I came to a couple and obviously DJ'd at one as well.
Yeah.
Always brilliant fun. And it
well,
was great
I mean, when I started doing bits there, I had a conversation with the guys there, and I was like, look, I could probably pack it out quite easily with like, house classics sort of vibe, but my heart is in upfront underground tech stuff. And they were fully supporting. They're like, do the underground tech, and I was like, great. It's a harder sell. It was much harder to get people through the door with that sound, but it's sometimes you gotta follow your heart. You know what I mean?
Do you know what, we think about that a hell of a lot, especially the way we market Elemental events, because it is so much. it is a lot scarcer around here, and we do a lot of pub takeovers and things like that. And there's room at them places for the underground sound, but you've got to really be careful how much you lean on either side.
Yeah. Well, I think that's with your guys. You always book great DJs. It's about great DJs. You know what I mean? Like if people can read the room, you can play underground upfront stuff and just give them. You know, you can tell when people need a little bit of something.
Just a little bit. Yeah. A little bit of.
And that's where I like to sit anyway. Like, you know, as a raver, you know, I don't want to be smashed around the head with classics. I really don't. And the same thing with we'll go on to Shake It, I'm sure. But the whole idea behind that is it's kind of a classics night, but not a full on classics night. It's I to be honest, I don't feel comfortable with like, over 30s rave, you know, all these sort of brands that are coming up. It's like, I'm not that old. Don't tell me the age that I've got to be to come in here. You know, daytime because you have to be in bed by a certain time and all this stuff. It's like
need a nap.
So I think sometimes people are hit around the head with the old hammer, and hopefully we Shake It, which is the other brand. It's kind of like. It's just I like to think of it as slightly more accessible, I suppose. But so the idea is that it's not like a house classics night. It's just a celebration of house music, so you can play whatever you like. But I prefer it not to be full on house classics for the whole night, because you still want a journey.
You still need that journey, and I think
you don't want to be hit round the head with tracks that you know. You still need a little light and shade. You know, I want to hear stuff that I don't know. You know, it's I think that's important.
So how did that develop in that obviously journey from the forum and then Shake It, which obviously started at the Assembly Hall, right?
Yeah, I got contacted by the Assembly Hall. When I got during COVID, I was getting my jabs done in the Assembly Hall, and I was just like, wow, this venue, because I had obviously been to see things there, but every time I was getting my jab out, I was like, yeah, this is quite a special venue, isn't it? And then they did
the typical DJ promoter thing to do.
Yeah. This will make a good rave.
Talking to the wife, babe, I could throw a party in here.
You go anywhere, and you're like, you're sitting in Wagamama's going, I put the DJ booth up there, right?
That'd be great.
But and then they contacted me, which was a really nice touch. They just contacted me and said, look, we want to do parties, because they were doing mainly tribute acts and comedians, and they wanted to have a couple of events that would, also between me and you and the rest of the listeners on the podcast, they wanted to shift more drinks, because when you have someone come and do a comedy set, you can have one drink before, maybe two in interval if people are really chugging them down, and so my event at the Assembly Hall was the first time they removed the chairs in 10 years, and it was the biggest spend on the bar they had ever had, because it was a party, and so that's how that started.
Amazing. I mean, I suppose that makes complete sense. I mean, when we're budgeting for festival, the drinks and the food side of things is such a massive kicker on the ticket costs and everything like that. Like, without it wouldn't be possible. Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me that venues like that. I know, I can't remember where I was. I listened to a lot of podcasts, and I was listening to a podcast where they're talking about venues, and venues like that around the country. Majority of them are financially propped up by their Christmas season, by their pantos. Oh yeah, absolutely. So they're the driver for the year, and actually a lot of the rest of the year, a lot of these venues are losing money and just ticking over. Yeah. So I'd imagine doing something like that with Shake It was, with a big bar spend, made a massive difference. Yeah, well, hopefully so. I mean, they are on the comedy circuit, which is, they put in great numbers for that stuff. But like you say, at the bar, not. Absolutely. So you've obviously moved over to the Manor House now with our good friends Faz and his dad, and they're doing it over there. How's that been going? Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, I couldn't really do a full-on daytime thing at the Assembly Hall, and I did find that my crowd, they are mixed age, but a few of them are north from, say, I'm going to be nice here, 30. So a lot of them are north of 30, and I think to wake up at a normal time and not feel like absolute death is a really nice thing. And even at the Assembly Hall, I was finishing at 2, and so
yeah, it just didn't quite suit the daytime vibe. So yeah, Manor House is where I'm doing the Shake It events at the moment. I will go back to the Assembly Hall, but also
Yeah.
it's very hard to do because I've got to fill out the whole stage with lighting and screens.
Yeah,
and
production-wise, that makes
it's insane.
And we tell us a bit about that. Obviously, there's a massive difference in terms of Assembly Hall. You've got to put a lot of rigging in there to turn that into what you want to create. And
Yeah.
obviously, a venue like Manor House, a lot of that's already kitted out and in there. So
Yeah.
financially, that takes there's a different pressure there, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no. To be honest, at the Assembly Hall, it's very hard. It's very hard because you need a big name headliner there. With that amount of people, it's 1,000 capacity. You've got to have a good pull, and then that on top of the the bits that you've got to do on the stage, it's tough. But yeah, we will be going back there. It'll probably be in 2026 now, 27 even.
Brilliant. Doing anything else at the forum with Switch, or how's that sort of sat at the moment?
That's at the moment at the moment we're just concentrating on the Manor House and just really having said that, there will be some events down at the forum in the future that will be more of the underground sort of vibe.
Nice.
Because I want to get back to that stuff. The booking that we did with Bushwhacker, awesome. Best music I've heard in so long, and we can't really go there with the Manor House or Assembly Hall. So just to scratch that proper rave itch, then there will be some more Switch events down at the forum for sure.
Brilliant. Well, just one more thing I wanted to sort of touch on, Tim, was you're obviously a big part and work alongside Andy at AMPM with your mix down and mastering stuff. So tell us a bit about that and what you do, and because you work with some of the biggest names. I mean, you've mixed down, you've mastered a lot of records that we've produced over the years, and worked with some of the biggest names on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've always known how to produce. That I learned from quite an early age. But when it came to mastering, my friend Andy McDougall, who has been my best mate for a very long time, I've been through it all with him. He during COVID, actually, I said, "Do you need a hand?" Because obviously I didn't have any work going on really. And he was like, no, the way I do it, it's like, it's a certain way that only I can do. And I was like, give me a chance, mate. Give me a little go. And then after about 2 weeks, he was like, okay, we can do this. So now we do it together as a duo. So we share the load. And over the years, he's picked up so many great clients. We do nearly all the stuff for Toolroom. We do all the stuff we do a lot of bits for Booker Shade, for Nothing Else Matters, for Realm, for Gorgon City. We do all their stuff. It's great to be working with these brilliant producers and try and get their tracks sounding as good as possible.
It must be nice hearing some of the biggest tracks from the biggest labels around the world. Obviously, we spoke earlier about hearing records that you've produced being played out live in the special moments, but just knowing that you've worked on them tracks and you've been a part of that mastering process and getting them to sound at the right level so that they're ready for them massive club and festival sound stages. How does that feel? Yeah,
great. However, you can't help but when you hear a track that you've mastered, it's kind of less enjoyable in a way, because I'm just sitting there going,
could have done that better.
That sub sounds amazing, but maybe I could have compressed that sub just a little, and you get really geeky about it. That's the only thing. But you're never going to stop doing that.
Are you more critical of your own music when you're finishing and mastering it, or another artist's music?
Probably about the same, actually. I overthink when it comes to mix down. Then the same. But of course, when it's my own music, I can change so much more of it. I've got the full-on stems. I can,
freedom to.
Yeah. So having endless possibilities is. But what I do, I don't know if you do this, is that when I'm writing music for myself, I've got two different modes. I've got my sort of creative mode where I do the whole track, arrange it, but I hardly touch the EQ for anything. Don't touch the panning, don't touch anything, and just get it in its completion, just as a track. And then I bounce it all down, then open a brand new project, and it's just all the waves of the whole thing, and that's my mix head. And now I'm not a producer, I'm a mix engineer. So that's the way I think about it. So
you almost put it under two separate roles. You do the production side of things. If your own music, you produce it and then you mix it down.
Yeah, because if I try and I don't know what, I think some people do it that way, but it works for me because
I'm a messy bastard. I'll be playing around with EQs and trying to mix things as I go, and then I'll go back over it again, and it just ends up all over the place.
Yeah,
we get there in the end, but it's a different process.
Yeah, but also if it sounds good without any EQ, you know you're onto something. True. All you got to do is just shift it, and you go, right, there you go.
Tweak it and make them adjustments.
Yeah, I mean, just rough levels, rough vibe, and I can tell what it's going to sound like once I've put the sheen on it. Yeah, I just like we were saying earlier before the podcast started. I can't think about two things at once. So, to go right. I'm a producer. I'm a mix engineer. I've got to do that. Otherwise, I get confused. I don't know if you're the same.
So, in terms of Tim Cullen, what have you got coming up music-wise this year, Tim? Anything exciting in the bag?
Well, I've been building this room for the last 4 months. So now this is in. I can really get my teeth into some new music. But I've got a remix of K-Class coming out imminently. It was supposed to come out earlier this month. They've already released the Marco Lease remix, but my package is going to come out with a Slipmat remix and Nicky Black Market. So I'm really looking forward to that. I was very honoured to get my hands on that part, on those parts, because it's it's a very special track. So there's that. But yeah, there's a few originals knocking about that will be coming soon.
Amazing stuff. And then in terms of Shake It, you've got the event. Your next event is 3rd of May. Is that right?
3rd of May, yes. Bank holiday 3rd of May. And yeah, come down, please. And then we'll be doing one in October as well. We're topping the tail in the year, basically.
Brilliant.
So we need to have a chat. We need to have a chat about that.
Brilliant. And also, we will both be down at BMC
yes.
on May the 21st.
Yeah.
We'll both be there both days, and we will both be at our event at Oso on the Thursday night. So if you're around, come and say hi. We'll be spinning some tunes. I think there might even be a sneaky back-to-back thrown in there somewhere, Tim. But
mate, you're in control. I'm in your hands.
We are looking forward to having you down, mate. Tim, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you and to go back through your journey and talk about where you came from. And hopefully it's given people a bit more of an insight, especially people who didn't know you from necessarily back in the day or from pre your Tumble Joel's era, and just obviously see you now in your Switch Shake It head. It's probably quite nice for certain people to delve into you and a bit more about your history.
Oh, so. Well, I mean, I hope it's interesting to everyone. But one thing I've found whenever I hear someone else's story, it just grounds the whole thing. That's what I found. Especially people that are starting off in the scene. Some things feel a bit untouchable sometimes. I don't know if you've ever felt like this, but then when you meet someone and then you hear their story, it just becomes more real and a bit more gettable.
I love listening to podcasts. Music-based podcasts, especially when it's not like top-end artists, where it's, like you say, it's people that are maybe touchable. We meet at venues. We sort of in the realms of you're sort of aspiring to be like, and actually you hear their story and it delves into, and I find them fascinating. Actually, a lot of people are very similar in the ways that they've came up and came about and got to where they've got to, and I think it humanises what people are doing a lot more as well. Yeah, there's a massive, obviously, social media is such a front for. Oh God,
yeah, and everything feels a bit untouchable. So no, to see, to feel, to listen. Yeah, no, I think this is great, and and keep doing what you're doing, man. I mean, Jesus, you're so busy doing everything you're doing, and everything has got a stamp of brilliant quality. I got your new promo through the other day, sounding great, man.
Which one?
The one that was through Toolroom, the one that's on Strayline.
Brilliant, perfect. Yeah, I wasn't sure because we've got one coming on Club Whatever, which we spoke about actually in about 3 weeks. So I wasn't sure if that one had come through yet.
Okay, cool.
Good to know you're getting them.
Yeah, man.
Very good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tim, thank you so much. I've absolutely loved this. Guys, thank you very much for listening this week. We hope you enjoyed this episode with the wonderful Tim Cullen. You'll be seeing hopefully plenty more of him out and about at events soon, and also with plenty more releases. Tim, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Take care. See ya.